you got to be happy with that.
Yeah, our guys have done a good job of being resilient, executing the plan, continue to play. Sometimes it's not as clean as we'd like, but guys continue to play and find ways to make plays and play decent situationally and get off the field. And, they've done a good job with that.
Hey Todd, what have you seen from Bo Nix so far this year?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at him, first of all, he's a guy that's really progressed, say, from game one to now. Probably got a little more poise, than he had earlier. Really good athlete that can make guys miss. Very competitive guy on tape that, works hard at knowing where to go with the ball, both from a pass standpoint, but also on the quarterback design runs, whether I give it, keep it, do I throw it to a guy on an access route and things like that. So he's progressing really nicely for him. They've got some really good skill guys around him that helps. So the combination of that and him make him, really good.
They had a lot of success running the ball with them, particularly the other night.
Yeah.
How does that change their offense?
Well, anytime your quarterback can run the ball, it becomes truly 11 on 11. And you just got to make sure that you have the edges of the defense set. You got proper containment as far as leverage on the quarterback, and then you got to build a wall inside to be stout, because they do a good job on their downhill runs of trying to move and create space, and then guys start squeezing or maybe overcommitting too much on that, and then he pops it loose and gets on the edge. So, it's a total team effort, and, you just got to be able to make sure you play your gap, your responsibility.
What impresses you about Gus Malzahn offense?
I think that Gus does a really good job of getting the ball to his playmakers. I mean, when you look at it, he's going to find ways to get the ball in those guys' hands, both as runners, running the ball, but receivers, whether it be rocket sweeps, balls down the field, screens, things like that. So he does a really good job of finding ways to get playmakers the ball, and they make plays. And they're really a physical team. When you look at their run game, they're a downhill running team that will continue to pound you, but they have ways to get the ball on the edge of the defense. So you've got to make sure that you play a complete game, from an assignment standpoint, as far as setting the edge, of your defense, building the wall, and communicating and executing.
What, just in terms of a play caller? I mean, there are not many in his class, are there?
No, I think he does a really good job of, like I said, of understanding the players he has, understanding, how to get the ball in those guys' hands in space to be effective. Whether it's first down, second down, third down, doesn't matter. And I think that's what kind of makes him unique.
And not to get too technical, but what does he exactly do in the run game? Because he seems to, over the years, he seems to coach your run game as well as anyone.
Yeah, I think that they do a good job of working to formation you to create softness, and with softness becomes seams. And when you have seams, guys that run downhill hard can hit it and make things happen. And then sometimes you lose the edge of the defense, so guys can bounce it out, cut it back, and that allows for the the double-digit runs and things like that, because now you've got seams in your defense. So he really stresses you at all levels from the standpoint of making sure that the edges of the defense are set, you're stout inside, building a wall, and then as you get motion and movements, that you can rotate and maintain your edges.
How have you done against him? You've matched up a few times.
Yeah. We've had some battles, and he's a guy that really challenges you to make sure you're good in the run defense. So we got to make sure we do that.
Todd, how many wrinkles can you give a first-year quarterback 5 games in, 6 games in?
Yeah, I think that, I don't know about wrinkles from the standpoint of, it really gets down to execution of what we can do. I think he's probably got more confidence now than he did, say, game one. Probably a little more poise, a little more understanding with the offense, because it's relatively the same plays. It's just coming at you a little differently, from a look standpoint. So that gives him continuity. So we know that we're going to be challenged, and we just got to find ways to, affect his performance.
Is there a challenge to reintegrating some of the guys that you'll have back healthy this week?
Yeah, guys practiced today. That was a positive. So, we'll continue to work those guys and get them reps, and be good to get them back.
I think the experience of Zuniga and Henderson, does that make it pretty easy for them to knock the rust off?
Yeah, they pretty much know our system, what we're asking them to do. They wouldn't need a lot of reps to be ready, so we'll get them ready.
So Flacco kind of found a couple soft spots early in the game, ran well.
Mm-hmm.
How did Amari Burney grow during that game? Does it seem like then he was staying at home, or I don't
Yeah.
know if that's what was going on, but he seemed to make some plays in the middle of the field that kind of slowed that all down.
Yeah, I mean, Bernie made plays, and Bernie played well for us
Mm-hmm.
as we moved throughout the game. Bernie's an instinctive guy that kind of understands what's happening after he sees it a time or two, and that was a positive. But as a unit, I thought our guys did a better job really moving forward of understanding, you know, the speed and athletic ability of the guys you're seeing, understanding the value of maintaining your edges, you know, compressing the pocket outside in, because a couple of those were really quarterback scrambles that, you know, we allowed him to get out, and you really can't do that. So I think as a team, we did a better job of understanding how we needed to leverage the ball.
Valuable though, going when you're about to go against a kid
Yeah, I
like
think
this.
anytime you can face, you know, an athletic quarterback leading into facing another athletic quarterback, it gives you some familiarity with what you're doing and understanding how you have to leverage it, you know, and I think that was good for us.
The jet sweeps, how good are they at that with the speed they have?
Yeah, they do a good job. I mean, you know, they like to rocket the guy, and then they like to try to pin guys inside and get pullers outside, and you know, it's another way of trying to get the edge of the defense, and you've got to have guys that can come back and regain the edge of the defense. If you don't, you're going to give up double-digit plays.
Anthony Schwartz is one of their weapons on offense. He's very, very speedy. What does he bring to that offense?
Speed. I mean, you know, he's a good example of he's got really good speed, and then, you know, take that with Gus's ability to find ways to get him the ball, whether it's on sweeps, shots, screens, you know, things like that. And then all of a sudden the guy's touches, you know, double to triple relative to if it was just, say, a regular drop back game. And that's what they do a good job of.
Does Nick seem to be kind of a gamer and a guy who's just going to kind of be able to ride out the highs and lows of the game?
Who's that now?
Nick's the quarterback,
Oh,
the
Nick's.
young kid.
Yeah, I think he's competitive. I think that, first of all, I think he's a talented player. He's accurate with the ball. Now, at times, maybe in some games leading up to the last one, he wasn't quite what he needed to be. But overall, I think the guy's accurate with the ball. He can keep plays alive with his feet, which anytime you can extend plays, it allows your offense to have positive yardage. So I think the combination of all of that, his competitive, his toughness, his athletic ability, the way they protect for him, I think all of that works well together and it allows him to be a productive player.
Do you remember any of your good defenses, your better defenses over the years getting torched by a freshman quarterback? Does that happen?
Oh man, I try to forget those. So. I don't know. You could Google it or something. I remember when I was at Virginia Tech. I remember when I was at Virginia Tech. True story. And we were up by 4 touchdowns, and we knocked the starter and the number 2 guy out of the game, and this third dude came in and like torched us, and the third guy torched us, and we basically won the game, I think, by like 7 or 10. And I'm sitting there like, man, we stink. We let this third teamer come in as Brett Favre. So, so anyway, we got torched by a third teamer, right?
Yeah, Hall of Fame team.
That's right. This is Brett Favre dude, man, torched us.
Todd, I know you guys are always trying to keep the opposing team off the board. But did you realize that your defense hasn't given up a touchdown since Felipe went down?
I didn't realize it like that. I mean, you know, I think it's always important that you work the game. And what I mean is like there's always things that people put in that are kind of new. So as those come up throughout the game, you have to work the sidelines to say, here's how we need to play. Maybe here are the calls we need to play, and kind of adjust as you move forward. So I always call it working the game. So I think that's important. So I think our players have done a really good job of understanding the concepts that people are trying to present us, understanding here are the things we need to call, and I'm going to call them, and then going and executing the plan. And I think that's the biggest thing.
Time for a couple more, guys. What kind of things are you guys zeroing in on as far as third down defense?
Well, you know, like in the last game, we started out, I think, 0 for 4, but we really finished 6 of 9 the next little bit. So from a percentage standpoint, we're probably working to be better at executing. But when you go back and look in the last 2 games, for example, in the last game, 2 of our 3 turnovers came on third down. And you go back and look at Tennessee, we had 2 interceptions on third down. And those are really big plays. So we've just got to continue to work and be consistent in our production, but still try to get those, you know, turnovers on third down, which are good.
And what can you say about how the defensive line kind of brings it every play?
I think that because we play a lot of players up front, It allows our defensive line to be fresh and keep them in a rotation, and then guys get conditioned that, you know, I can go as hard as my ability lets me because I know that I got a guy that can come in and spell me. And I think those are all habitual traits that we work in practice, and they've done a good job with.